Hello, it's Dr. Sarah Walting here, founder of Soul Writing, and today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips about blogs. So this is about blogging. You're probably used to me giving you inner meditation exercises to help you use your intuition to write. And today is a bit different because I'm going to give you 3 more technical writing tips. They're pretty basic, but they are very useful if you write blogs. And on retreats, I'm often asked about how to write blogs and how long they should be and things like that. I actually co-founded one of the first blogging environments. It was Web Blogs then. The 2 words web and log went together and became blog eventually, because people who speak English tend to be very lazy with language. So that was back in the 90s, and back then it was kind of a lot easier and there was a lot less pressure, I think, about blogging, because you didn't tend to be yourself online before Facebook came along. Since the advent of Facebook, people have tended to be themselves online, so I know that that's what most people who are listening want to talk about. It's also the biggest problem. The problem with being yourself online is that it brings a whole load of self-criticism, self-judgment, and a whole load of stuff that's going to block you, stop you from publishing your blog. Self-criticism, or the inner critic, is as disadvantageous to blogging as anything else. The problem is with blogs, though, quite often there's a timing for it, so you need to get it up pretty quickly, quite soon after you've run your event or whatever it might be. And so you really must not get into being perfect about anything. Actually, perfectionism is the biggest killer of writing. It can stop many writers from even beginning, but especially with blogs. So Ernest Hemingway once said the first draft of everything is shit, and he's written a lot of very, very good drafts. He did a lot of editing. I would usually say edit things to death after you've got your first draft down. However, with blogs, I would say don't worry too much about editing. They're generally quite short. Get them online, or they should be, because people don't tend to read long essay type, thesis type blogs. Keep them pretty snappy and get it up online as soon as possible. I do this as a trick sometimes. I publish something which I know needs an edit, because then as soon as it's online, I think, oh no, someone's going to read it. So I then quickly go on and edit it. And if it's not too long, then that's not going to take me more than another 20 or 30 minutes anyway. So it helps create some creative tension. And creative tension can be a good thing as long as it gets us moving rather than stopping us. So that's tip number 1. Doesn't need to be perfect. Publish it as soon as you can after the first draft or the second draft. Then edit it afterwards. If you still hate it, you can delete it a week later. Second tip, tip number 2, photos. Photographs, images are really good with blogs. Put them up front. I usually put title and then the photo, and then I start writing. Or sometimes title, a little introduction, and then a photo, because then the photo is going to be what catches people's eye sometimes. And so that's quite a useful thing. Choose an eye-catching photo that also aligns with the theme of the blog. So if you're writing about eyesight and sight, then put a picture of an eye or someone with a pair of glasses or something like that. That's what I mean by aligning with your theme. The other thing, so tip number 3, is reuse. What I mean by reuse is quite often a lot of you, and obviously if this doesn't apply, then I'll give you another tip around it. If you do Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or any of these social media platforms, you're probably used to doing photo with short caption. What you'll probably also be aware of is that some of those posts become longer, or you realize that they could be longer posts. Those are potential blogs. And I would always say reuse what you've done, because those ideas for your Insta posts, especially the ones if you've had a lot of likes and people seem to appreciate that post, that's well worth turning into a blog. why not? So those are the 3 tips. Number 1, don't be perfect, just get it published as soon as possible, edit later. Number 2, include a photo and put that quite soon up front. And number 3, reuse the ideas in your social media posts and photos as well. If you don't do social media, obviously number 3 doesn't apply. And what I would say to you is think of it as photo and caption. So keep the text around a blog reasonably short. It doesn't need to be long. And this may give you some content actually for posts. If you want to start, you're just doing blogging and you want to start doing social media, then you can use the content in some of your blogs as long as it's not too long. You can edit it a bit to put it onto social media platforms too. So thank you for listening. I hope that's been helpful. If you'd like any more tips, please feel free to have a look at soulwriting.co. And there's a couple of blogs up there that I've written. And also you can email me at sarah@soulwriting.co if you would like any further support with your blogging or your social media work. I'm more than happy to help you. Thanks for listening.